Hi, welcome to Let's Talk Macarthur. This is the podcast for the Macarthur area, focusing on small businesses and local charities, basically just to give them a little bit of voice in the community. So if you know of a small business or a local charity that you think you get some advantage out of being heard by the community, and the people can get to know the people in their neighbourhood, which will be a lot of fun. So it's just going to be casual interviews. We've got some great partners that have come on board. We've got Wakeling Automotive, Scott Wakeling. We've got TechnoFunc, Health and Fitness Studios, and Narellan and Campbelltown, Fitzpatrick Robinson Accounting and Business Advisory Service, and of course Richardson and Wrench, Narellan Mount Annan. Today we've got a pretty special guest, and this is one of our partners. So we're going to be hearing regularly from Chantelle Yeaman from TechnoFunc. And she's going to be covering health, fitness, and well-being for us. So she's going to have a regular spot, and it's just going to be based around tips and hints and that sort of stuff. But we thought today we'd just do a little bit of an interview with Chantelle. I'll give you a little bit of what I've got from her. I love this quote that Chantelle put on her Facebook. Ever made a difference while being like everyone else? No, nobody ever makes a difference like being with everybody else, so which is great. So TechnoFunc is based in Narellan and launched in August 2017 as the first standalone Prama facility in Australia. Its owners, Matthew Morris and Chantelle Yeaman, refurbished the property, transforming it into a new fitness concept room. With the aim of becoming a local reference in the area, TechnoFunc invested in the creation of a new environment in which the experience starts from the entrance. They set out to create a fully personalised space to provide a complete workout, adapted for every type of audience. TechnoFunc managed to obtain 91% of their maximum capacity in the first year. That was at Narellan, and then they opened up in Campbelltown. So welcome, Chantelle Yeaman.
Thank you. What a welcome.
Well, I stole all that from your website, so it was all right.
I was just thinking, like, where'd you get those figures from? But yeah, that's online.
Yeah, that's where I got them from. So you had Narellan open for a little while, and then you opened Campbelltown.
Yes. We had Narellan open. So we registered in 2016 and then opened in 2017. It was 8 long months of paying rent and building out the building before even getting any members in. So that was definitely not expected. And then we were open for about a year and a half, and then we opened the Campbelltown facility, which is over on Blaxland Road.
So before this current bout of COVID restrictions and lockdowns, what was your membership standing at?
Oh God, that's like, how long's COVID been now? Like,
I think we're in the 8th week now. So.
Yeah. So all up, obviously Narellan's been open for longer than Campbelltown. So Campbelltown was sitting at probably at about maybe 70% capacity before COVID. And Narellan has pretty much since our first year has always maintained like full capacity, give or take, obviously, because you do have people coming and people going and things like that. But yeah, our retention rate is quite high at both our facilities, more so Narellan because it is more established. But we definitely, I guess, and anyone in the fitness industry will be feeling this as well, but we've definitely felt the effects of being a group facility with COVID. That's definitely been something that we've noticed. More so you notice your numbers with like trends within fitness, but also within your seasons, like summer and winter, there's always like highs and lows, but definitely have noticed the backlash of COVID with groups or coming into group environment. So
before we get on to some of the questions I've got about on how you've adapted and that sort of stuff, tell them what sets TechnoFunc apart? I know because I've experienced it, and it's very, very different from anything else. So just explain what a Prama facility actually looks like.
Okay, so with the Prama, so obviously our flooring and our software is classed as Prama, but we were actually very lucky to be the last people to invest in this product that were able to make it their own. So we could use their product to build our own business rather than investing into a franchise of Prama, so to speak. So yeah, we definitely did that, and then we just built it from the ground up, literally from our flooring, which is obviously something that's quite unique. Prama is the software system of it, and Pavy Gym is the gym flooring that we use, which is top of the range gym flooring that you can get. And it is quite expensive, but you definitely pay for a high quality gym flooring. So investing into that, we, as I said, built it from the ground up. We had the concept that we had seen. I was actually running a community boot camp at the time, and someone tagged me in. It was a Prima facility in New York. It was a gym like Fitness First that had it as a group fitness facility. And I was like, oh my God, like there is nothing like this around here. Initially inquired and was like, oh my God, way out of our price range. Like, no way, couldn't do that. That's ridiculous. And then kind of had a little, I guess, brainstorming session and sat down and just seeing what we could do and how we could make it happen, because we were like, we really wanted to make this happen. Me more so than Matt. But I just wanted to give, I guess, the community something that was completely different and 100% unique. Like there literally is nothing still to this day like it. Yeah, we do have some gyms who are utilizing like colored lighting and fluoro things and stuff like that. So in that sense, it's definitely, I guess, a market that's starting to creep up. But knowing that we were the first to do something like this with our touchpad sensitive walls and the floors, the interactiveness of it. So it's like connecting your mind and your body in the workout, but it's also a really immersive workout because we don't have any mirrors around. You're literally there focusing on the floor markings and what you're doing in that moment, that you just get in, you get it done. And then the flooring and the interactiveness and the lights bring back the element of fun to it. So it's basically the whole experience from when you walk in the door to when you see the colored lights to when you actually do the workout. Even more so now since you've been a member with us, it's even harder and more difficult than before. And we're just, I really enjoy the, like, being able to know where we've come from and just work on it constantly to make it better and just evolve as a business, but also as people and within our community, to see people who, you know, we do have members who have been with us for four years. So like they've literally seen the massive change. But still, everyone still to this day that you talk to is like just the whole atmosphere of it is just, that's what's motivating, because there's just nothing like that.
Yeah, so. It was so much fun when I was going there, and unfortunately I got a little bit of a knee injury, so I pulled back just to do some cycling. But yeah, a lot of fun. And I think that the secret about having no mirrors there and it all being interactive, you find that you compete with yourself. So if you're a little bit like me and where you're very self-competitive, and you've witnessed that, so you know, you drive yourself harder and harder and harder. So but the support there, look, we had people there when there were certain songs coming up on the loudspeaker that we'd be singing along while we were working if we could breathe. So, which is fantastic. We're going to drag it back a little bit. I want to know a little bit about you. So, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Camden Hospital. Raised in the Oaks. That's predominantly where I grew up. We moved around the Oaks area pretty much my whole life until we moved into Camden, which is just when I was starting high school. So 2001, I think. I don't know. This is a long time ago.
So did you go to Camden or to Elderslie?
No, I went to Camden High. So I went to the Oaks Public School and went to Camden High from 7 to year 12.
So when you finished at Camden High year 12, what did you do after that?
So I was never someone who really kind of like, I didn't go to uni. I was like, I had two avenues that I wanted to go down. It was either where I am right now, sport and recreation, that kind of avenue, or like art and design, because at that point in my life, I really liked to, you know, draw and paint and design and all that kind of stuff. And I actually applied for both in TAFE, but I got into my certificate 3 and 4 in fitness first. So I just went down that avenue. I went to TAFE at Macquarie Fields to study it. So I studied full time while working at like a local pub. And then I was actually enrolled in my diploma, but once I got my Cert 4, I'm like, I just want to go at work. So I wasn't interested in like the rehabilitation side of, I guess, the fitness industry. And then from there, I went to work to Contours. Actually, it's not even a thing anymore, but Contours Fitness in Mount Annan.
Wow, I remember it.
Yeah, that was my very first fitness job. I was so nervous. just standing in the middle of all these people who happen to do exercise. But I'm very grateful. I'll always be very grateful for that job because that really, like, my boss she was a really hard boss. But she just taught me so much. Like, I come out of my shell a lot because I was actually quite shy. Like, I once upon a time would never ever do something like this. And here we are today.
Wow, that's fantastic. It's a good journey. So you do all that, and then you decide to open a business with Matt, right? So how do you find having a partnership in life and a partnership in business work for you?
Look, it's definitely, I'm not going to say it's been easy because it has not been easy at all on our relationship. But we're still here. We've been together for 10 years, Matt and I, and 5 of those years we've done the gym together. At the beginning, it was definitely fun. Like, we're like, yeah, we're working together, like kind of running our own race. Matt was still working elsewhere at the time. Then he started working full time for the gym, doing the sales. And I feel like the number one thing that I feel like we really struggled with was no work-life balance. It was literally like, we are who we are at home, but the gym was our life. So at work, it was like, that's just what we focused on. But at home, it would get taken home as well. And all of the issues from the gym or anything like that definitely did, I guess, factor in on our relationship. But we've worked through it and we're stronger than we ever have been because we've done that together.
So for people that are faced with the same sort of situation, because there's a lot of small businesses out there that have a partnership both at home and at work. Yeah. So are there any particular things that you actually put in place to help you get that separation between the two?
Yeah, so it was definitely, this was more so probably Matt's doing than mine, because I'm able to switch it off. Like when I'm at home, I'm like, yeah, switch. I don't even want to think about work. But for someone who's really creative and a massive go-getter like Matt, he's constantly thinking about how he could make it better and what he could do. So his suggestions for us were to create like a family schedule or a schedule. So that's what we first did. And then we would implement like things for us to do. So this was before Archie as well. So we've now got a little boy who's 3 years old, but this was prior to that. We would just implement it. We would have our date nights. We would make sure these are our work hours and we try and stick with just those work hours, and just be really mindful when we are at home that we are like not sitting on our phone, because obviously we have our Facebook and our email and stuff like that. So just really trying to set the boundaries. It didn't always work. And it's still a work in progress. I feel like right now we've probably got the best work-life balance that we've got since we have had Archie, because that family is such a big value of ours now that we're like, okay, like that this comes first, this comes second. And we've really been able to draw the line in the sand there and really differentiate the two. So yeah, I just think really just working at it, constantly reevaluating it and being like, okay, this is my schedule. This is what I'm doing. How can we make this better? Always checking in with each other, talking about it as well. Communication is absolute key.
Yeah. As in every relationship, be it personal or business. So that's some really, really good advice and good tips there. Normally, when you're open and you're operating, so obviously at the moment it's a little bit different. How many team members do you have between the two sites?
So between the two sites, we have 5. We're quite lucky in the aspect that we are literally just a group training facility. So there's no like other part of the gym. And we can only have up to 24 people in our class at one time. So the ratio to trainers to members is just 24 anyway. That's when our classes are fully booked out. Those staff rotate between both facilities that we have.
Yeah, it's good. And you got a really good culture there. Like everybody works really well together.
Yeah.
What do you put in place to make sure that culture stays there and keeps building on that?
To be honest, this is probably something that I learned. I used to be involved with multi-level marketing Herbalife, and I learned a lot about personal development in those 5 years of doing that when I was living on the Gold Coast. And the biggest thing that I like to implement is to lead by example. So I like to obviously implement how I want my staff and my culture to be. And my main focus is community. So everyone is a part of it. Everyone feels welcomed, and also treating my staff as people, because they are people. People have shit days, people struggle, people have high days, they feel sick, they've got stuff going on in their own life. So obviously just taking that on board. They've still obviously got to do their job, yes, but putting that aside and just checking in with them and seeing how they are and hoping that they feel supported and a part of the community and the team as well.
Yeah, which is great. So we're in COVID, we're in lockdown. I know you're doing some renovations, so that's a whole other aspect of a relationship and communication and scheduling. How's the business adapted, and what are you doing in the business at the moment? Because obviously nobody can go to the studio.
Yeah, so we're quite fortunate this lockdown that from last lockdown we had to act pretty quickly because it was yes, we're going to lockdown. No, we're not last year. First couple of days of the lockdown were pretty emotional for me, if I'm being last time, if I'm being honest. But Matt, with his little creative mind, had these ideas, and we created an online program where it would be for people who do want to continue on with their membership, paying a discounted price. They would get a mixture of pre-recorded workouts that they could do at home. We would do like a 21 or 28 day challenge as well, just to keep them accountable, not like focusing on weight loss or anything like that, literally just accountability and habits and motivation. And so we've definitely been blessed because we had that. So I still had everything from that, videos and stuff like that. And I've literally just revamped that. We're doing the exact same thing now. And we have about 90 people between both facilities that are doing that. So it's great. And the community on there, it's good just to see people still trying to keep that same routine, even though the training is a little bit different and we're at home and they can't come to the gym. So there's so many different variables. They're still getting it done. And yeah, I've just tried to rebuild off that. So just more videos, more content in terms of what I've learned with things I've studied over the years since that's happened, about accountability and mindset and things like that.
Awesome. So are people able to join as an online member now on a short-term basis while it's like this?
We did offer we just started the 21-day kickstart, and we did offer for that, which we had a couple of people jump on board, but it's not something that we are actively promoting. But if someone messages us and wants to jump on board, then yeah, it's definitely something we can look at.
Oh, look out, I might message you. COVID's not been kind to me. As with a lot of people, I mentioned it to, I was having a conversation with a doctor the other day on a telehealth call, and I said, he said, how you going? I said, good. I said, but my girth has got a little bit larger. He said, everybody during COVID. Yeah, it's hard. So a couple of non-TechnoFunc related questions.
Yeah.
Through your life, who's been your greatest inspiration?
I don't know about this one. I've actually admittedly been a little bit emotional at the moment in my life because my pop's in hospital. He had a heart attack. So I'd like to say him just because he's fighting right now for his life. But if I had to pick anyone, I don't know, this is probably so cliche, but my dad, because my dad has not had an easy upbringing by any means, and has gone through his own challenges in life. And I'm one of 4 children. So by the age of 21, my parents had 3 children, 22, 4 children. And he's just resilient. He has literally just never given up. And that's something that I've always really admired about my dad. And he's taught me to be resilient myself. So I have to say my dad.
That's a good answer. And resilience is such an important word at the moment for so many people. So I'm glad you brought that up. What business-related or non-business related book has inspired you the most?
So again, I have to admit, I'm not a really big reader, but I'm really envious of people who are massive readers, because I feel like it makes people really smart. And I've always wanted to be one, but I just can't. But recently in lockdown, I've actually read a couple of books, which is huge for me. And my favorite one that I have read recently, probably a few months ago now, was called Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. And it was just kind of like a recount basically of his life and the lessons that he's learned. And I really liked that. It's not business related at all, but it just was something that I really enjoyed because it was the first book I've probably finished in a very long time.
I'll have to look that up. And it's life related, right?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
life related transposes into business anyway, so which is great. If you were to write a book about yourself, how would you name it?
Oh, how would I name it? This is a very hard question. I'm kind of inclined to put a swear word on the front cover, to be honest. How would I name it? I would name it in an appropriate way if I had to. Your only limit is you. It's
That's good. I like that.
Favorite quote that I live by. So
I love that.
That would be the start. That would be the name of it.
Your only limit is you. That's very, very good. All right, here's a really tough one. What is your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
Oh, my biggest failure.
Yeah, people don't like to talk about their failures, but I think they're where we learn our biggest lessons from sometimes.
Oh, I don't really know. My biggest failure. Probably I'm just trying to think of things that haven't worked in my life.
You're that good, you haven't had any.
No, I definitely have, but I just feel like it's definitely something that I'm not afraid of. So like if you fail, like you just learn from it and you just it's not a failure really because it's a lesson. And that's the way that I look at everything bad that happens. For example, let's just say COVID. There's so many things that we can learn from COVID. And I had the exact same mindset last COVID as well. But failure. I don't know.
That's all right. Okay. Well, something for you to think about.
Yeah.
Now, not including your dad or your pop, who are the 3 people who have been most influential to you?
Okay. So my nan, my dad's mum, definitely. She's the backbone of my family and has done a lot for me in my life and my brothers and sisters. The next one would be my old mentor. His name is Gary de Brabander, who was my mentor through Herbalife. He was literally the reason why TechnoFunc is even here because of the belief that he instilled into Matt and I about ourselves and what is possible and what we can do. Obviously, completely 2 different avenues of business, but just the personal development and life lessons that man gave to us, I will forever, I'm even getting emotional talking about it, will be forever grateful for him because he unfortunately passed away a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now from lung cancer. But he probably been the biggest influence in my whole entire life.
Wow.
If to scale it.
So that's 2. I need one more.
Oh, one more. Who else do I have?
Might have been something when you were a child.
When I was a child. Maybe. I'm going to say can I just, not a person, but can I say like my family?
Sure.
Because I definitely have had not the easiest of upbringings with drugs and alcohol involved in my family. And I feel like now that I'm older, and it's definitely not a bad thing because I would not change that for the world because I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through that and my parents didn't get divorced and whatever. So I'm definitely going to say my family and my upbringing because that has taught me a lot about people, a lot about resilience, as I said, but also about overcoming issues and also believing in yourself and just keeping on no matter what.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. So for people that are in lockdown and restricted movements and all of that sort of thing at the moment, in terms of their health and well-being and mental state, what advice can you give to them at the moment?
Get up and move. Do what you can do with what you've got. And what you've got right now is your health and your body, and movement is medicine to absolutely everything. Our bodies are literally designed to move daily, and just going out in the fresh air, if you live in a place that's got fresh air, if you're allowed to go out, go for a walk, just do a workout, Google it. Like Google has, if you don't have a program available to you, Google it, YouTube something, just move your body, read some books, have some time to yourself if you can. Obviously, I know you can't really go many places, but have a look at what you've got around you and start to be creative with what you can do with what you've got in the meantime.
And do it with music.
Yes, music is massive. Yes.
Yeah.
Music is massive, yes.
Yeah, I can't do anything without music. If there's music lifts your spirits anyway, and it clears your head of anything else that you've got going in there. So then you can just focus on the now. And when you can focus on the now, then you get a lot more enjoyment out of it, and you get a lot more benefit out of it.
Yeah.
If you could step into my shoes as interviewing you, what would you have asked yourself that I didn't?
Would you have seen yourself where you are right now 10 years ago?
Yeah, good question. Really good question.
If you'd ask me or tell me that I'd be here, I'd be like, hell no.
Yeah, and I think that applies to most of us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got some questions. These are just fun ones, right, to finish the interview off with. So there used to be a gentleman by the name of James Lipton, and he used to do interviews inside the Actors Studio, and he stole these questions off a French journalist and presenter by the name of Bernard Pivot. So I'm stealing them off James Lipton, and we're going to use them for all of our interviews, all right? But you only get them once, okay? Yeah. So what is your favourite word?
Can I swear?
Yeah, go on.
Fuck.
Okay. What is your least favourite word?
My least favourite word, shut up. I feel like it's rude.
It is. What turns you on?
Matt's beard that he's trying to grow at the moment.
Oh. What turns you off?
Stinky feet and long toenails.
Yuck. What sound or noise do you love?
The sound of Archie laughing.
I knew you were going to say that.
Love.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Matt's farts.
Loud and proud. You're going to have to maybe just defer to number one, but what is your favourite curse word? I think we know the answer to that. What?
Like you can use it in so many different contexts.
You can. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would love to be a detective. Wow. I am a true crime junkie, like every day, podcasts, videos, everything on Netflix. I watch it all. And that's, if I wasn't doing what I was doing, that's what I would do.
Awesome. That's a good one. What profession would you not like to do?
Politician.
Oh, yeah. It's funny, years ago, and we're talking like 27 years ago, when I stepped out of retail and into the automotive industry. And I got home that night and Ray Martin on Current Affair were doing the respectability jobs list. And third from the bottom was used car dealers, right, or used car salespeople. Yeah. And below them was real estate agents and politicians. Mm-hmm. So now I've changed my career after 27 years in automotive and I'm a real estate agent. So now it's below that. But things have improved because now there are 3 on the respectability jobs list below me.
Oh.
Right? So below me is politicians, drug dealers, and social media influencers.
Oh.
I don't know who comes up with these lists. They're very, very generic, but not everybody's the same in whatever profession there is, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh, oh God. I don't. Oh God. You made it. I don't know. Yeah, you made
That's
it.
right. Yeah, you made it. That's great. Chantelle Yeaman, TechnoFunc, Narellan and Campbelltown, thank you very, very much for being the very first person on Let's Talk Macarthur. I hope that was a bit of fun for you. It was certainly a bit of fun for me, and I look forward to doing more. So just remember, Chantelle will be back on with something each month. So she's going to come on and give us a little bit of a different tip or advice or something to do with health, fitness and wellbeing. Does a regular blog. Check out her website. At technofunk.com.au. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Yes. All right.
Find our website, and I did it all myself. So go check it out.
Awesome. And check out On the Couch with Chantelle as well. So, which is great. All right. Thank you, Chantelle, very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.